I realise I haven't done a video in a while, so today I want a few ideas I'm going to talk about. Um, some of them might even be noted in my notebook. Opportunities. In life, you are given opportunity. No matter where you are, where you're from. If you're in a healthy country, or a relatively healthy country like the UK, and not a dictatorial, corrupt regime, you are given one valuable thing, and that is opportunity to succeed. Yes, I go on about systems and stuff like that, the deep state, and I have loads of, I have content always coming out on those aspects, and there will always be an element of bureaucracy when it comes to a controlled economy. But with control comes balance, and with balance does come a certain degree of freedom, and with a degree of freedom, you, as individual freedom, you do get opportunity. But with endless opportunities, how can you seize the opportunity to create an outcome? So I remark on a number of aspects of my life. There's two things that ultimately create an outcome. This outcome can be positive, it can be negative, but we're looking at positive outcomes in life. There's two things. Number one is the idea. So the idea is something abstract, something ideological, and an idea is needed. An idea is needed to create an outcome, because without an idea, there's no outcome. You need to be thinking along that line, and along that idea, along that wavelength. And number two is the individual. When you have the right individual and the right idea, you are going to create an outcome, and that outcome can lead to a betterment in your life. It can create a better life, and it can allow you to do two things: allow you to make money, and allow you to spend better time, and spend better time in your life. So let's draw this back to my own off-grid living. So the idea behind everything, it all came out from a simple idea. Yes, it's now what you see here is a living reality, but it all came up from an idea. So number one, that idea that I had was back in London, and it was the idea of escaping rent. I was a renter for a few years as soon as I moved out from family to pursue my own adult life and to pursue my own to learn what it takes to live alone. For me, my sole ambition was to escape rent and escape inflationary living payments. That was my idea. Now, I had a lot of ideas, but this was my core idea. I wanted to escape rent, I wanted to escape inflationary living payments that are squeezing the middle class. Another topic I'll talk about is middle class and how, they're sometimes often the most biggest victims in society. But this is how I thought about my life, right? So that was my idea. But the outcome would have never happened had it not been for talking to the right individual. I had a good mate of mine back in the day, and I explained the idea of him, and I talked about, okay, I'll get a sleeping bag, a bivy bag, a tent, whatever it takes, so that I can focus on my goals without needing to incur inflationary living payments. And that, of course, is rent, mortgage as well. I wanted to not worry so much about living per se, and be able to use the money I earn into focusing on ideas, reinvesting into ideas, and reinvesting into opportunity. And so that became the right individual, because the individual at the time was determined to sort me out. He knew what I needed, and in the end, I became a camper vanner, because that was the best outcome I could have out of all the options available, where this is the best outcome. Okay, so I became the outcome of that was me living in a van, and the story itself unfolds. As a result of that, I've had a book that's talked about the how what I've done, how I got through first year. I learned to drive, relearned to drive properly. I learned to be self-sustaining. I learned how to deal with things when things go wrong. I learned what can go wrong and who to talk to when things go wrong. And I learned it all largely by myself. Just all no help, at least into the latent parts of the first year van life. So we always need to remember that. So based on that, how can that be a technique to grow in life? Well, you've always got to continually come up with ideas, because if you don't have ideas, how will you grow in life? and then you've got to talk to the right people. And sometimes you might have a clear intention. Excuse me. You might have a clear intention in mind, and sometimes it's just a case of searching. There's a big process to this as a search, because the ideas are very quick, very easy. We are innovative minds, but the individual can be tough to find. So this is where the search occurs, and search has to be strategic, right? So say, for example, let's take it to a romantic context, right? So there's two things. We can take it to a personal level, we can take it to a professional level. But at a personal level, you're trying to find the right partner, you're trying to find the right girl, right? So you want to find someone to share your experiences with. How are you going to do it? Well, firstly is the idea. That's your idea, right? But what is the individual? The main thing here is your search strategy. What's your search strategy? So you've got to look at the options here. You can either go to a, you can either use a conventional technique, which is dating apps. I've never had success on dating apps, to be honest. I've had a few, I've had a date out of a dating app, but it's never really been successful for me because it's saturated. There's too many options, and women on there are basically evaluating dozens and dozens of options, which they always are anyway, but dating apps exacerbate that. Or you can try and find niche channels, so you can find reading groups or particular groups or communities that you can join with an interest, and that's where I found more success in my love life. So that's one aspect of it. Now comes the professional aspect of it. If you're trying to set up a business, or you're trying to set up a venture, you're trying to grow a product, yes, it's good to have the idea, but then it's important to talk to the right individuals, right? Where it can become difficult is there's a common thing that, okay, you've been in 9 to 5, yes, you're in a 9 to 5, you can build a network through that, but you tend to get a very sluggish growth, and you tend to have to try and work for the nuances of 9 to 5, because you'll find that a lot of people are not who they say they are, and a lot of people are just there to just go home, pay the bills. They're not interested in entrepreneurial ideas. And you can quickly find that based on the attitude of who you talk to. So that's an individual aspect for you. That's individuals. But then you've got to have a search strategy. So, okay, so what are the events you're going to be attending? Are you going to be attending networking events? Are you going to be how are you going to be contacting people? Are you going to be setting community funds? Are you going to be setting up some innovative way to create value for people? Because if it's a professional context and you're trying to create an outcome there, you need to be able to create value for someone. What are people going to benefit from you? And it's the same thing in a personal level. When you are a partner, you need to look out for your girlfriend and see how you can benefit her. What can you do for her? You've got to get that selfless aspect to you. So that is kind of this is where it's important to have that clarity. Now, I self-reflect, I journal, and maybe it's obvious to you, but too often you have this mentality that, I can't achieve. And yes, it's difficult. It's difficult for me as well. I don't always feel like I'm achieving. I sometimes feel like I'm in a block, and I want to continually achieve, and I want to continue to grow. Sometimes I do feel I get setbacks in life, and that is part of life. But if you're not continually got that driving spirit in life, you need to understand that is the way to that. A lot of my good opportunities have come, and not about my opportunities, but a lot of the learning opportunities overall, whether it's good or bad, have come from me having ideas and speaking to the right individuals, going out there and hunting. Because if you don't hunt, you don't get. If you don't look out, if you don't ask, you don't get. Sometimes it's nervous. That initial call is nervous. That initial meeting is nervous. But those are the only ways that you can meet like-minded individuals to pursue both your professional goals and your personal ambitions, whether it be to have a more successful dating life, whether it be to have a more successful professional life, or help accelerate a venture or a project or an innovation that you've been working on, or whether it's even to reduce your cost base in life, figure out what's a sustainable cost base for you, so that you can really afford a pleasant quality of life. So yeah, that is what I wanted to talk about in this video. Ideas individuals and outcomes, and how to seize opportunity and create those outcomes. I know it's been a little bit of gibberish for some of you, but I'm hoping a few of you will understand this and will begin to gain clarity. Once again, this video is for people who are like-minded, ambitious, ideally for people who've been in a similar background from me, who don't have many responsibilities to begin with, and hopefully it's something that's useful as a life management technique, whatever you want to call it, as a life tool. Yeah, thank you so much for watching.